gang. I hope you're doing okay today. Let's talk about filling the gap between where you are currently in your career and where you need to be. Filling the gap. Now, if you think about it, there is a level you're aspiring to right now that you want to reach through promotions, transitions, through opportunities. And that level can be in a higher grade in your current place of work, a change of job, it can be in money, and it can just be in exposure and opportunities. So you are looking to move from where you are right now to somewhere higher, for instance. It means that there is a gap there. There needs to be a traveling, there needs to be a some sort of progress for you to travel from where you are right now to where you need to be. And now, for that to happen, you need to, as a person, work on yourself enough, get on the journey, up your psychology, raise your standard, and become that person who can be entrusted with the new opportunities, with the new money, with the new level, with everything. Okay. Now, I have talked to you about who you need to become. In the last strategy session we had, I have given you some motivational talks about reinventing yourself, about ditching the goals and becoming the person who you need to be ready for every opportunity that you do need. So we've talked about all of that. Now I'm talking about filling the gap because it's like a very deep hole or a very deep well or a very deep valley between where you are now and where you need to be. And that gap needs to be filled. Imagine a tipper load or truckload of granite or of sand, of water, mending that huge hole so that you can then travel through. So I will be talking technically on how do we fill that gap between where you are now and where you need to be. And a couple of thoughts from me as you approach the new year, as you approach 2026. There are a couple of thoughts from me. Number one, you need to get serious. See, if you are not serious, and I mean this in literal terms, because this is not me trying to motivate you or anything, I'm stating the facts. If you're not serious, even if you know all the right things you should be doing, how you need to get up early in the morning and get started with everything you need to do, how you need to maintain the small disciplines that make you show up as a better person, how you need to communicate, how you need to speak up, how you need to do those tiny little things you need to do that changes the game or that have given you results in the past. If you don't get serious to continue to do all of those things, you will just see that you're standing in your way. So you need to get serious. Uh, See, there is nothing more painful than somebody who has all the information at their disposals, all the tool at their disposal, all the resources at their disposal, the time they do have, they have everything they need to level up their lives, but they are not serious. Blessed, ambitious, but unserious. There is nothing more painful than that. So you need to be serious. That's the first thing. For you to fill the gap between where you are currently and where you need to get to, you need to be serious. And what does serious look like? Serious means you show up. Serious means you show up. You see all those tiny little things that you have learned, that you have the information on, that you have the opportunities to do, that opportunities present themselves to you. You have time, you have resources, you have money, you have the right environment, you have the right education, you have all of those things. Those are leverage. The question is, what are you doing with everything? Every single thing you have right now, what are you doing with it? You have ideas, you have business ideas, you have pitch ideas, you have, you have career ideas, you have so many ideas that can change your life. But you need to get serious. You need to say, what am I doing with all of these things that I do have? You need to get serious. You need to have a good plan. And you need to say, with all of these things that I do have at my disposal, my life can be 10 times better. My life can be 5 times better. My life can be 15 times better. So I'm going to chase it. The best season of your life is the season when you get serious, when you're not waiting for anybody to tap you on the shoulders to do the right things that you will do for yourself. That is the first truckload of granite, water, or sand or cement that you need to fill that gap between where you are and where you're going. Get serious. Okay. The next thing I will say to you is the mindset and the psychology that you're using to run your life right now has brought you so far. It has brought you here, but it won't take you there. It has brought you here, but it won't take you there. It's, it's like when you have an iPhone, how you need to update the versions of your iOS. You need to update it, update it, update it. We do the updates like on the average every 2, 3 months. You need to update, update, update. And for you to update something, sometimes you need to uninstall some things. So as you move into the next level of your life, you need to be asking, what is the new software that I need to install? What how do I need to be thinking right now? How differently do I need to, if you're not stopping to ask these questions, you will be living one kind of life for multiple years. You want to become someone different, totally different in the next year. For that to happen, things needs to change. And it starts with how you're thinking about stuff, your mindset, your psychology, how you're seeing things, your principles of life, your values, the things you value, your priorities. Some of those things needs to change. Your values, the things you care about. Time is going to come in your life where you know banter, rants, all of those things may no matter anymore. There's some times in your life where you don't respond to everything. You don't respond to every energy. You don't respond to everybody. The time is going to come in your life because of how fast you're going and how far you're going. The time is going to come in your career where you are focused on decision making, on the right decision making for your teams. You're no longer too much in the detail. You're lifting your head up and you're saying, what can go wrong here? And how can we make sure it doesn't happen? So the question is, that place that you see yourself going, that extra money you want to make, what is the new mindset you need to have to be able to earn that money? What's the new mindset? Is it the mindset of could work my 9 to 5, but I need something on the side? Or is it the mindset of, oh no, actually what I do earn is enough. I just need to cut down on my expenses? Or is it the mindset of I need to change my job, pick up more, pick up other roles that offer me more? What is the new mindset? Or I need to take my money and make sure they are properly invested so they can get me the returns that I need. So what is that mindset that you need to install right now? Or is it the mindset of instead of chasing traditional jobs, I set up my own shop, I become a freelancer, I offer my services to people. What is that new mindset you need to install right now for the next level, for the kind of money you're looking for the kind of opportunities you're looking for? That's another truckload of water, granite, sand, cement you need to fill that gap. Okay? The next thing I'm going to say to you is you have to learn to do the hard stuff. Listen, I'm not a preach. I like soft life, but I also know that soft life doesn't bring more life. It does. It's just that it takes away from what you've built. It doesn't add anything to it. That's just the fact. That's my belief. So for you to you know be that person who you know who is, who is regarded, for you to be that person who is worth listening to, for you to become that person who is achieving the things you've set out for yourself to achieve. You have to do the hard things others would not necessarily do at work. They won't do it. No matter, like, they won't go that extra mile. They won't say, "He- leave it with me." They won't be the ones to say, okay, yeah, we know we have a problem. How do we solve it? And then they're saying, okay, can we try A? Can we try B? Can we try C? Okay. So you need to stand back and just make sure that you are asking, am I doing the exact things I need to be doing right now? Am I doing the hard stuff right now? Because others wouldn't do the hard stuff. And that is your advantage. They won't go those extra miles. They won't do the volume. They won't do the reps. If you want to become the representation, you have to put in the reps. If you want to represent others, you have to put in the reps. I just have to do the hard stuff. Okay. The next thing I'm going to say to you is, practically, are you qualified enough for that next level that you're going to? Do you know enough? So you want to make more money. But if I ask you, how many personal finance books have you read this year? How many? If I ask you, you want to make more money, you want to learn to invest your money, how many personal books, how many personal finance books have you read this year? Okay, how many uh, people that talk about personal finance, like Dave Ramsey, do you follow on the internet? Like the penny stock, how many of them do you follow on the internet? You want to create your own business, how many people that talk about business do you follow on the internet? The contents like School of Hard Knocks, Myron Golden, or Mario Katori, Dan Coy. How many of those guys, Justin Welsh, how many of those guys do you follow on the internet? Dan Mattel, all those guys. How many of those guys that talk about business, that talk about money, that talks about creating their own company? How many of those guys do you follow? How many of those guys do you know? Follow their content and not just like follow, like literally you raise your mornings for them to listen to them. You raise your evenings for them to listen to them. I was saying, I wrote sometime on the internet and I said, on the average, I spend about between 2 to 3 hours every day listening to podcasts, ebooks, learning generally from people. And someone literally said I was lying. And I get it because it's not what everybody would do. And I completely get it. And it's okay. Like if they can't relate to it, they can't have it because they can't even relate. They can't relate to it. And you need to get to a point where you are knowledgeable enough to qualify for the life you are. You're knowledgeable enough. What certifications do you have? So right now you're thinking, okay, for those in the medical area, I know they do a lot of certifications, exams, all of those things. You are a nurse, for instance. You want to become something else, for instance, and you've been thinking about it. Have you filled the form? Have you registered? When are you doing the exam? And what is your plan to study? You have to be knowledgeable enough to be deserving of the kind of life you want. That certification is so critical because it will get you in the door. It will your certifications, they'll get you in the door. Okay, they'll get you in the door. So go and get knowledge on what you want to become. Don't stay confused. Just get serious. Up your psychology, up your thinking, do the hard stuff. Do the hard stuff. Get your certifications in place. Make sure you're knowledgeable enough. Then act. If you do all of the other things I've said and you don't put in the work, like you will put in the work. You will put in the work. You will put in the work. You show up every day. Every day. Every day with volume. You're not just showing up every day. With volume, more, 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 more. I wrote a LinkedIn post yesterday where I talked about this. You show up every day with more in your hands, with volume, because it's not everybody that would do what you're really doing. It's not everybody. Not everybody would do it. So you show up every day with more in your hands. I'll stop here. I hope this blesses you. Enjoy.